This is a special edition of WeatherScope with an update on the latest storm affecting the Northeast.
A snowstorm is in progress in southern New England and parts of New Jersey. A live shot from Worcester, Massachusetts, where the snowfall totals have exceeded 4 inches, and it's still coming down. Good evening, I'm Dave Schwartz here at the Weather Channel with another live update on winter storm number, how many is this? 1996. What a winter it has been. We've got ourselves another nor'easter. Where is it? It's right along the coast, right off the New Jersey coast. Energy diving over a ridge down into a trough and then right up the east coast. To the left side of this line, it's all cold air, relatively cold air, and there's the moisture wrapping back in, and therefore we've got ourselves a little snowstorm. Low pressure centered right off the New Jersey coast, and all this area of white is getting pounded with heavy snow all the way down into Monmouth County, New Jersey, and now into southern New England. Some of the snowfall totals: Atlantic City, 5 inches and counting. Islip, 4 inches and counting. And in Worcester, Massachusetts, we've got 4 inches on the ground. You just saw what it looked like. We've got a man on the scene. Jeff Morrow in Worcester, Massachusetts. Jeff, it's getting worse out there.
It is getting worse, Dave. The snow continues to pile up, probably at the rate of about an inch an hour here. I want to show you how much we have on the ground here. Just kind of kicked through it there a little bit, and you know what? It's not that heavy, wet snow anymore. It's getting a little bit powdery, which means it's getting a little bit colder. I'd say we're getting close to 5 if we're not already there, Dave. 5 inches on the ground here. We have eclipsed the record snowfall for the season. We had a little bit of a correction on that. There was actually about 119 total here for the winter, the record being about 120, so we've gotten way over that inch, I know that. So we have eclipsed the record, so Worcester now joins a whole long list of cities, the winter of 95-96, setting all-time record seasonal snowfall.
And in Cleveland, Ohio, we're just a half an inch away from that record. Allentown, Pennsylvania, a 1/10 of an inch of snow away from an all-time record seasonal snowstorm. Now, the snow is going to be ending. It's practically over in Pennsylvania. It continues in New Jersey, and it looks like you're going to be in this for at least another 12 hours, moderate to occasionally heavy snow.
Yeah, we're going to break it down actually here as far as doing any more live shots tonight. We're going to try to get a little rest, and we'll pick it up again tomorrow morning, Dave. We're probably going to be on the air at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard, or excuse me, now we're into Eastern Daylight, and we'll report to you here, and I expect by that time, Dave, we may have more, at least doubled what we have on the ground now. If it snows an inch an hour like it is now between now and about 6, I got to believe we're going to be up almost to 11 or 12 inches.
Well, it's been really interesting to see what's happened where you are just over the last 3 hours. We started out with, what, wet roads, and now you have 4 or 5 inches on the ground?
That's amazing. I mean, for April, it is truly amazing. The saving grace, of course, here at this time of the year is it may snow like this hard at night and even into the morning hours, but during the middle of the day, that sun's going to start to melt this on the roads.
Well, there's going to be plenty to melt, but we'll check in with you again at 6 in the morning. Thanks so much.
All right, Dave.
Well, not only have we had snow in southern New England, but it has snowed way far to the south. Of course, way down here, you had to pick up some elevation to find. Here's our radar indicating the green overlaying the white clouds, and boy, is the snow really picked up in New England here over the last 6 hours or so. It really has picked up. It's getting more oriented in a north-south fashion. You'll notice the heaviest band of snow now from around Atlantic City and Beach Haven all the way up through Hartford and now just about to Freeport, Maine. Right in here it is snowing at just about 1 inch per hour, and we've even had some lightning strikes earlier in Newark, New Jersey, Providence, and Boston, and Worcester. They've seen some lightning, just an indication of how much energy there is, how much lift there is in the atmosphere. And where there's lightning, believe me, there is heavy snow here tonight. A quick check-in on radar shows that we're covered with the white stuff here. Boston, 34 degrees now. We've got some snow on secondary roads. Otherwise, downtown Boston, just plain old wet. Providence has seen some lightning. Here's your heavy snow right now. Very, very heavy, heading back into the Berkshires. Down toward New York City, it's 35 degrees, so we're okay in Midtown. But out here on the island in Islip, we've got 4 inches of snow. And out in Suffolk County, reports of 5 or 6 inches of snow. And a winter storm warning is in effect for coastal New Jersey. Monmouth County down into Ocean and Burlington and Atlantic counties. Total 12 inches of snow before this tapers off tomorrow, as it already has in Baltimore and Washington. So we've got some very active weather in the northeast corridor. It's still winter. It's going to be that way for the next 24 hours, but warmer weather is on the way, guaranteed. With that timetable, here's Christina Abernathy.
Thanks, Dave. We see the warm temperatures in the west right now, even at this late hour, still in the 60s and 70s, even a few 80s showing up. Here in the east, of course, the cooler temperatures. But we'll take a look at the forecast in a few minutes, and what we are going to see is the warm temperatures moving on eastward, so good news here. Well, we look at the country and pretty quiet weather except in the northeast. The most active weather here. Head to Florida, things begun to quiet down a bit for you. And in the west, we see rain with some embedded thunderstorms and snow for the higher elevations. And our national radar picture shows us that activity here as we head across the country. And as we head into this area, we'll focus in where we are seeing some, not out of the question, significant, impressive amounts of snow here with very cold temperatures, very windy.
Stuffed crust pizza plus cheese and pepperoni stuffed crazy bread.
For your neighborhood, only on the Weather Channel. Storm affecting the northeast.
Another storm hits the mid-Atlantic coast, now into New England, and it is battering some areas. Good evening, I'm Dave Schwartz. It is the bottom of the hour, and boy, is the snow piling up in some spots. Check it out, satellite vantage point. Show you that we've had this deep trough of low pressure across the eastern half of the country. Notice the clouds up here in Montana going up and over a ridge, down into these clouds, and then we make the left turn up the coast. And whenever we're in this kind of a configuration, we know that cold air is plowing in from the northwest. We've got freeze warnings in effect for North and South Carolina. Plus, we've got moisture heading right up the coast. And there's your area of low pressure right in here. We've got ourselves a nor'easter. Low pressure at the surface just south of Long Island at the present time. And in behind it, on the cold side of it, it is all snow. And is it coming down from Monmouth County, New Jersey, now up toward Portland, Maine. Snowfall totals, well, pretty impressive. Atlantic City, 5 inches. We probably have more than that now. Islip with 4, still snowing. Worcester with 4, Harrisburg 4, Devon just outside of Philadelphia 3, and a report from Bayside, Queens, New York. 2 inches of slushy snow, and that's where we go first. To New York City for a look earlier in the day. This is when the snowflake satellite movie. Notice the precipitation heading up into this area. Look at all that. Yeah, that's just moved in over the last several hours. That includes Boston, Worcester, up into Concordia, Nashua, Portland now getting in on the snow, and we'll have 8 to 12 inches up there before all is said and done. Meanwhile, it is ending from the south and west. The snow and rain that started off the day in Washington, D.C. and Baltimore has now pretty much come to an end. Checking in a little closer, we find that some of the snow in Boston is heavy. Boston is reporting 34 degrees, and they've got some very heavy snow reported. Secondary roads are now snow-covered, but Boylston Street downtown still reported wet. Further west, we haven't seen one flake of snow, as a matter of fact. Here in Binghamton, New York, we've got nothing falling from the sky at all, just some high, thin clouds. This moisture will continue to drift north and then wrap around into the Adirondacks, completely cover Maine, so we're not done with this yet. Back into New Jersey, very, very heavy snow. Reports the possibility of 1 foot of snow before all is said and done tomorrow. That would be in coastal sections of Burlington County, Ocean County, Atlantic County, and Monmouth County. Some very heavy snow just south of New York City, as a matter of fact. And out here on Long Island, 4 to 6 inches have fallen, more yet on the way. This area of low pressure that's sitting out here will only slowly track to the northeast. We'll stay in the cold side of this, so there isn't going to be any rain-snow line. This will pretty much be all snow working right on up the coast toward New Brunswick. Then we'll clear from the south and west. And south and west of there, well, it has cleared nicely, and it's warming up. Now, right now in Cincinnati, it's 29 degrees. We've got partly cloudy skies. But in Billings, Montana, and I realize that's a fur piece away, it's 69 degrees. Right now, 40 degrees warmer. There's some warm air in the high plains, and that, my friend, is heading east. Christina Abernathy will have a look at that and your weekend forecast coming up.
Thanks, Dave. We are definitely seeing warmer temperatures to the west. Still in the 50s, 60s, and even a few 70s here. Of course, the much colder air to the east, still in the 30s and 40s. But as Dave said, we will see this ridge, which is responsible for all this warm weather here, shifting eastward. That in turn will cause things to warm up eventually through the central states and then on into the east, where we see, of course, the active weather along the northeast coast. Back to the south, a little quieter. You saw some wet weather earlier in southern Florida. That's begun to quiet down somewhat. And in the west, a little bit of rain, a little bit of thunderstorm activity, also some snow for the Cascades, so the higher elevations getting some wintry weather here too. We've seen the
More about the weather around
eastern half of the country. You're probably wondering, where is spring? We have seen quite a wintry situation, actually, a very strong nor'easter producing lots of wintry weather already several weeks into spring. And we saw a dramatic temperature first through Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. Now it's beginning to affect New England and the northeastern part of the country. But so far already, since Monday, seeing up to 3 to 6 inches through parts of Pennsylvania and New England and West Virginia. Just to give you an idea of what we've seen so far, Atlantic City, 5 inches so far. Worcester, Massachusetts, 4 inches. And Queens, New York, 2 inches so far. And snow still falling here, as we see on our map. Our nor'easter off the coast, a very strong storm. Snow now heaviest through New England, especially southern New England, back towards New Jersey and into extreme eastern Pennsylvania. This is where we're looking at the worst of it, and more will fall here. The moisture wrapping around our area of low pressure, the cold temperatures in place. We are talking 6 to 12 inches of snow in a swath here through New England, especially into eastern New England. Significant, especially at this time of year. I mean, we're well into April. Unusual to see this sort of a snow event at this point in the season. Things will be changing. It seems like winter's never going to end here, but we do have some changes in store for the entire eastern half of the country. What we've seen recently is a big ridge here in the west. We have a very potent nor'easter here producing impressive amounts of snow through New York, New Jersey, on into New England. We are expecting in parts of New England to get 6 to 12 inches of snow. Certainly travel hazards here. Slick roadways are certainly treacherous traveling conditions, and on southward into parts of the Appalachians too. You could be dealing with some wintry travel conditions through the morning rush. By the afternoon hours on into the day, still looking at snow here in the northeast, eastern New York, into New England, and generally as we head into Wednesday night, New England will be getting the brunt of the activity. Slick roadways because of rain in the west, California and the Pacific Northwest on into Montana, and some of these areas have also been dealing with some thunderstorms. Windy conditions in the areas highlighted in blue.
At Michelin, only on the Weather Channel.